Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Mila, Michigan Legends and Haunts. I'm Steve.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are so happy you could join us here. On this first episode, we are going to be talking about Blood Road in Metamora, Michigan. Let's get to it. For those of you who aren't familiar, Metamora is a small farm town situated in southeast Michigan, about 50 miles north of Detroit in Lapeer County. Metamora was originally settled in 1836. It was a village on the Bay City Division of the Michigan Central Railroad. The village is best known to those in Lapeer County for their annual Country Days and Balloon Festival. The village is also known for a restaurant called the White Horse Inn. Aside from the beautiful balloons, the serene lakes, and good eats, the village of Metamora holds a potentially dark past. Situated approximately 1.5 miles from the main drag is Blood Road. There are a few versions of what may have happened on Blood Road. One legend states that before the village was ever settled, in the 1600s, people migrated to the area from Salem, Massachusetts, to escape persecution during the witch trials. The area that we now know as Blood Road had become home to witchcraft and satanic rituals. Rituals performed by what is now known as the Blood Road cult. Virgin sacrifices were a common ritual that were performed by the cult. Some locals claim if you drive down the road at night and look out in the fields near the swamp, you will see people in black robes standing in a circle performing a ritual. The second most popular theory is that a man who lived on the road murdered his wife and dumped her body into the swamp, and the swamp now turns red at night, running with her blood. This version of the urban legend says that if you drive down the road at night, tree branches will fall behind you and the road will also turn red. There have also been reports of a truck following people with bright headlights that seems to disappear without a trace. Some locals claim to have had odd experiences while traveling Blood Road at night, while others claim that the stories of Blood Road are nothing more than local legends that have been passed down from generation to generation. We tried to reach out to a few people that live in the area, but none were available or willing to comment. So what better way to find out exactly what is going on at Blood Road than to drive out there ourselves? I shoved my wife and kids out the door and into the car once dusk hit. We arrived at Blood Road just after dark, and I strapped my camera to the hood of the Jeep. Excitement and anxiety washed over the both of us as I turned off the four-ways and put the car in drive. Blood Road, the portion the urban legends are about anyway, is only about 2.5 miles long, but it was about to be a very long 2.5 miles for us. We crept down the road, the radio turned down to barely a whisper, the crunching sounds of the gravel under the tires and squeaking of the shocks from potholes and ruts adding to the eerie feelings in the pits of our stomachs. After what seemed like an eternity, my wife having given up on her vigilant lookout duties into the fields that surrounded us in favor of scrolling Pinterest, we made it to the small bridge that the legend springs from. In an unsettling way, you can almost appreciate the aesthetic of the waxing moon's light off of the small, overgrown swamp. I slowed the car to a near stop as we passed, taking in our surroundings. And just like that, we had passed over the cursed spot. Now the second half of our investigation began. Was I going to have branches falling behind me? Was I going to look into the field and find myself privy to some kind of arcane and supposedly satanic ritual? Would I have to outrun some kind of ghost truck like I was starring in a remake of Christine? We reached the next intersection and began the hike back. Having barely turned around, I spotted it. Movement, then eyes in the darkness. My heart skipped a beat. Fucking deer. Welcome to Michigan, everyone, where deer are the rodents of the road. My heart restarted after a moment, and relief washed over me. The rest of the drive was, unfortunately, much the same as the beginning of our journey. We noted one lone light coming from a field to the east of us that we hadn't seen on our way in, and after some speculation and eyeballing it from the road for a few minutes, decided it was definitely some kind of man-made light. Where it was coming from, I'm not sure, not without trespassing anyway. And we did have a somewhat mysterious vehicle follow behind us for a majority of the way back. After a closer look, once we pulled over to let it pass and remove the camera from the hood, I highly doubt the spirits are leasing nice, new, white SUVs. All in all, it was an uneventful drive down Blood Road, which is disheartening at the least. I wanted so badly to see something. I wanted to be chased by a ghostly truck, or have a brush with the paranormal in seeing a swamp run red with a vengeful spirit's blood. But sadly, at least at this time, all I can say is the only sort of scare you'll get is from deer with a death wish. If you haven't heard about Ankur, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Ankur will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Ankur app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So anyway, there are no names. Here's my thing. There's literally no way to investigate if someone actually dumped a body in there. Because it's not like Mr. Schwerty Jaeger Werbenman Jensen or whatever. Like you can't Schmitty Jaeger Werbenman Jensen, whatever the hell it is.
No, and I absolutely agree with you. In all of our research, I don't think we found any names, especially for the second version of the legend, where the guy kills his wife and dumps her body in the swamp.
Schwamp.
You would think... Shut up. Somebody
would say Old Man Jenkins that lives on the hill
killed Old Lady Jenkins and dumped her body.
Yeah.
Somebody would know.
Or something like... make up a name that's in the area. You know what I mean? Like... Okay, so like when you go down Tilson Street, they have all like, oh, it's so-and-so Gates.
It's Tilson Street in Romeo, Michigan, by the way.
I'm gonna lick your eyeball if you'd ever cut me off like that again. Ah! Oh, it's a dog. Turn around.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway.
So anyways, when you go down Tilson Street in Romeo, Michigan...
Yeah, so they have, like, oh, look, Gates, that's a street, and, like, I don't know what other street, like, all the streets, like, they give it names for, like, the little tombstones at the one house, like, cool beans, historical stuff, right? There's nothing of that, like, okay, the next intersection after your weird little bridge thing in Swamp on Blood Road is Broker. Look, Jane Broker was murdered and dumped in that swamp.
Yeah, but by that logic, then you would say that every town that's ever had a murder...
No, I'm just saying you could
would have streets named after those people that were murdered.
Well, that's where... Okay, Emily City. Marianne, that was what's-his-face's kids. Like, in that whole little cul-de-sac, like Marianne, and... That's the only road I know. Metcalf. His kids. That's his daughters. That he named all those little side streets after.
Is that Charles Palmer?
No.
I don't know.
I just said Metcalf, and you're like, Charles Palmer?
Oh, Metcalf, okay. Well, yeah, but...
I'm just saying, you could pick a name. You could just pick a name.
Just pick any random name, then.
Yeah!
Well, you
could.
Like,
even make something up to make it sound legit.
I guess.
Who goes, I'm gonna make up an urban legend. But I can't lie. I have to use facts to make up an urban legend.
That's true.
Deputy Dewey reporting. Doofy.
That's Doofy. Doofy in Scary Movie. Deputy Dewey in Scream. Get it right. It's my favorite movie.
It's film class, right?
This is film class, right? No, so, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, at the very least, there'd be some sort of record of, you know, something, at least a name or a police record or, you know, anything like that. That would make sense. But in all of our research, we found nothing.
Nothing. Not a one thing. No things.
So then how do you explain the people that I had talked to on Facebook when I reached out and said, hey, I was looking for people that lived in Metamora.
Just people.
No,
just
that lived in Metamora. You know, we weren't really able to reach anybody for comment, but, you know, there were a few people that still said, hey, I've experienced a few things. So how do you explain that? Because at this point, I think we've kind of debunked without going too in-depth because we were dumb and had the kids with us. But
hey, they're cute, okay?
They're very cute. But you don't take
and
kids.
Also, we run faster than them.
Well, so if there really was a satanic cult, then they are the ones that get sacrificed.
Oh, that made me real sad. Oh, I just got real sad, man. Oh, no. Oh, I made myself sad.
But so how do you explain the people that say that they have had things happen? I mean, I talked to one lady who used to be a paranormal investigator, and she personally had never had any experiences, but knows people that live on Blood Road who have experienced things.
I'm not going to discredit every single person's experience and say that you a liar, you a liar, you a liar, because I didn't have anything happen. But maybe like a 60-40, people flip-flop it either way. People have, people haven't. You know, people say stuff for attention. I'm not saying that's everybody by any means. But, or honestly, how many times do you like gut react of like, oh, I don't realize what that is. Like, I just had a weird thing happen, and like perception.
You mean like the fucking deer?
Yeah. I mean exactly like the deer.
No.
Or like boo-hoo, a branch fell. Like, I'm just saying, like, do you know how many times I've walked out the back door to go take out the trash or like go get the trash cans from the road, and like I got friggin' nuts falling on me from the squirrels, and at first you're like, oh, what is that? And then, I don't know, use these things. These eyeballs is...
You gotta remember, people cannot see you.
No, I know.
They can only hear you. So if you point at something, you gotta explain it what you're pointing at. This.
Big direction. This.
So it could be half, these experiences could be half legit. I'll say 33% legit, 33% coincidence, and 33% mind tricks. Your mind is expecting, your mind is anticipating something.
Yeah.
So you're going to see these things happen.
Yeah. And honestly, okay, so like the truck. We didn't see where the hell the truck came from.
Not a clue. No.
I don't even knew it wasn't a truck, but I just went full, like, Don Vito.
Yeah. Don Vito.
No, we didn't see where the SUV came from.
It was an SUV. No, and you're right.
And that doesn't mean that it's a ghost SUV.
No, absolutely
It
not.
means that I don't check my mirrors like I should.
Well, you weren't driving. I was, and I knew part of the legend was that the road turns red behind you. Now, that's been sort of discredited by locals, saying that, well, people think the road's turning red, it's just your taillights, which makes sense. That's kind of stupid on a lot of people's parts,
if
honestly.
That is the case,
If that is the case. But you're absolutely right, because I was constantly checking the rear view. I was looking for branches falling. I was looking for anything else constantly, and all of a sudden this truck appeared out of nowhere. I didn't see where it came from.
It does have, it's I won't say it's extremely hilly. I mean, like, you're not like a roller coaster driving down it, but it has definitely got some hills and valleys to it. So there's a point where you're at the bottom of a hill,
and somebody else could be coming up the other side.
Pulls out of a driveway, even. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we've kind of figured that one out, possibly. But like you said, I don't want to discredit people that have possibly had experiences out there.
Right. Because it just didn't happen to us. Sorry.
Wow. No, because, I mean, there were a lot of times where
And also, it was only like maybe 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was only like 10 o'clock. I mean, if we went out there at 3 a.m., it might be a different story. The witching hour, you know. So, but there were a lot of times where we would go out with Charlie and Matt.
Yeah.
And, which, I don't know if you listened to
That's a whole nother story.
Oh, I gave a little introduction on another episode previous. So, no, but there were nights where we go out with Charlie and Matt would say, oh, I've seen some stuff here. And then we saw nothing.
Or everyone else saw something, but Ashley found the raccoon in the graveyard. It was a big raccoon.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't make me walk home with my new raccoon friend.
So, without or kind of getting off of the secondary legend, which I feel is quite possibly the more believable legend of a man kills his wife, dumps her body in the swamp.
I thought you were about to say something totally different. Carry on.
No, I don't even want to know. I mean, what do you think the likelihood is that a satanic cult formed back in the 1600s?
I don't know. I really don't see it happening, I guess, is my thing.
You don't see it happening at all?
No.
Well, I guess, and
having okay, I'm sorry, can that many generations really keep that good of a secret?
But it's not a secret. It's a legend passed down through generation to generation. So.
Yeah, but you don't see them if there is a satanic cult, you don't see them inviting people out, be like, hey, you want to come check out my thing? I got this cool thing going on in a field tonight.
No, they just start a MLM.
Shut up!
They just start LMMs, man.
OP.
They just start MLMs like Color Street and Primerica nowadays.
That's not even...
Those are cults. No, but I mean, it was.
Oh, you you were going for actual companies. I was picturing. No, I was picturing like someone dressed from like head to toe in robes, very serious with flyers, like passing them out in town.
Oh my God, no, no. But
okay,
getting back on track. Lord help me, guys. Lord help me. So, getting back on track, though, I mean, all the so-called witches in Salem were. Well, let's start here. Do you believe in witchcraft? Do you believe that's that's an actual possible thing?
One time when I was 10, I was trying to make a screen door move. I need you to understand that the screen door was broken, and it was windy, and it moved, and for 10 minutes, I thought maybe I had superpowers or was a witch.
Well, I don't think that would be witchcraft. That would be telekinesis.
What did I call it last week? Doesn't matter. Telepathy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know, because, like...
I don't imagine witches like you see, around the time that it was like 3 days ago, like Halloween, like with the cauldron and with the.
No.
But do you think like witchcraft is an actual real thing? That's one thing I'm not sure of.
We should do a follow-up with Brooke.
Brooke would be a good person to bring onto the show because she's.
Yeah.
Into all that stuff. She could actually bring some light to it. She's her.
She is who she is. But no, I mean, I guess I can't say... This sounds stupid, but as much as I can't say, like, oh, well, I don't think witches are real. I don't think that's a real thing. Someone could be like, hey, I don't think your thing's a real thing. Like, in that... Okay, any religion could say, no. And I guess it's technically not a religion, but I don't know.
Well,
I don't
Wiccan
know
is a
enough.
religion, though.
Yes, you are correct on that.
So, I mean, a Wiccan could easily tell a Christian that your God's not real.
Right,
But
no,
a
and
Christian
that's
could
what
also tell a Wiccan that, hey, your magic's not real.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't practice it.
So it comes down to a belief.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So so I guess on that note then, Satanism is a religion. They do, I believe, perform cults. Or perform
What?
cults. Yeah. Listen,
Those are completely different things.
perform rituals, am I right? If there's anybody that practices Satanism, please email us, michiganlegendsandhaunts@gmail.com to fact check me.
I don't know. I just know that for the most part, they really have a lot of good policies. Don't do bad shit to people.
Yeah, no,
Be nice to animals.
what's their Bible called? It's just
The Satanic Bible.
The Satanic
Bible?
They-
I went suddenly Arkansas.
Yeah, the Satanic Bible is actually very, very interesting. While I am very much so, a Christian.
Do I know?
While we're talking about religion, Satanic Bible actually has some really, really good, like, I guess would you
Points?
call them rules? Like, kind
Is
of
it a
like
commandment?
like our 10 commandments, like their rules. Like, do not rape, do not murder, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, yeah, I would really like someone to actually email us because, yeah, I don't trust myself to Google that and not get some stupid shit
Yeah, no,
from
yeah.
Google.
If anybody could email us and give us some, I wouldn't say advice, but
Insight.
insight. Thank you. Insight into Satanism. That'd be a pretty cool thing to hear a different point, if there's anybody out there that practices. So, possibility of satanic rituals, yes. In the 1600s, I don't know.
Okay, maybe then. But now I feel like, okay, people call... Have you seen, like, the Lapeer police scanner page? People call because their neighbor farted too loud. Like, I feel like if someone's outstanding in their field... Good job. Outstanding in their field.
Get the fuck off the mic.
Hey!
No, if
They're gonna notice.
People are.
There's
gonna
not
call.
that many woods, I feel like.
But
Like, densely wooded, like, I am hidden from sight.
we could go on about this all night, because then I could say, well, maybe it's not an actual cult that's passed through the generations. Maybe what people are seeing out there are the, like, apparitions or the
But how many? Okay,
spirits
so where are the
of-
apparitions coming from? Oh, from that?
from the original cult.
I see. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about
no.
from, like, intertwining the two, like, stories.
No.
And I was like, how many people did he kill? How many wives did he have?
No, because the two legends don't intertwine. They're
No,
two
that's
separate
what
legends.
I thought you were going for, though.
So when there are so many legends, it's kind of hard to keep track. It's kind of like...
It's a game of telephone.
It is. It's a game of telephone. So which one do you go off of? Which one is real? Which one is fake? And does any of it exist?
Right.
So it's kind of like Morrow Road. Morrow Road in Algonac, Michigan. Foreshadowing. If you're listening this far.
Please kill me.
Yeah. But while that road has 9 different legends attached to it,
Yeah, that's obscene.
they're all the same general story.
Meow.
Mostly.
But it's just meow. It's a
But
form of protest.
we're not talking about Morrow Road, we're talking about Blood Road. So
yeah, I'm aware.
We'll not talk about it in depth right now. So I don't know. I mean, for us...
I mean, like, here's my thing. I don't think that, like, they're going out and, like, if there is some kind of, like, satanic sect, I'm going to call it that rather than a cult. Like, I feel like a cult is... It's not... No Jonestown. That's not the vibe that I get from the story. So I
No.
really wouldn't call it a cult. It's a sect, like a church, a parish, whatever.
But they are known as the Blood Road cult.
Yeah, well,
That's the
people
thing.
use words.
Well, people use words, yeah. People
That
call
they-
anything what they want. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. For us, I think it's debunked. Just for us personally. I've, We didn't experience anything. We didn't see anything. However, like in future episodes of the show, we're not going to have the kids with us. We will get out of the vehicle. So, it was a little bit of a different situation, but I think for us at this point, it's been debunked. Now, if we do get anybody reaching out to us saying, hey, I've had experiences, then maybe we'll follow up with a mini episode somewhere down the line. But I don't think there's anything going on Blood Road. And the more I think about it, the more I'm pretty sure we went out there with Matt at one point. And
I don't know.
Didn't experience anything. I mean, I know we've been all over Southeast Michigan with Matt.
I know I got told to make either a left or a right.
The next thing you know, we're in the ghetto of Flint.
Trying to find White Castle.
Trying to find White Castle at 3 o'clock in the morning after going to the strip club. Oh,
what a story, Mark.
Yeah. So, debunked?
Debunked.
For us.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the first episode. Join us next week on Wednesday, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and also follow us on Insta at mysterious.mila.